Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating it's Friday, January 15th, 2016. Ra here in the Lynn-Life, Betty Jean in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other dimensions, most of us in the subatomic, and most of us in the physical dimension. We're approaching our next deadlines. They are January 16th, 2016, which is tomorrow. As always, our intention is to do what is ours to do right now, to manifest the divine plan. Wiser minds above having given us a series of deadlines and assignments to make that happen. That next immediate deadline is tomorrow, and we have multiple assignments, both for the Search for Truth pillar and assignments for the projects. And all of these are building to a January 17th, 2017 deadline, a year from now roughly, by which we are to have provided a collective restart so that people can begin to live their soul plans, creating lives of joy and worlds that work. With that, the videoed portions of today's efforts begin. What do I know? I know that even after 26 years of working with this assignment, that this body-mind must use the physical hands to draw the channels up. And I know that getting the channels to go up is a huge, enormous challenge on the path, and that in the overnight, last night, that's what we were working with for the Search for Truth community.
That's true.
And that there were so many channels going in directions other than up that we had to simply use what we call the cutting screens that just slice all the horizontal and diagonal connections off. They just cut them off.
That's
and
true.
all that's left is the upward reaching channels, and that there was a huge amount of debris that the horizontal and other cut channels came together to form. It was really an enormous pile of debris.
That's true.
And we now notice in this morning's efforts that there's more airflow than there was yesterday, and that it's noticeable. And back again to the fact that we must actually use our hands to get the channels to be going up, and that when we're just using our intention, it doesn't actually work as well, and that in the classes where we were teaching this, attempting to teach this healing art to humanoid presences, that every single person without exception also needed to use their hands to get their channels up.
That's true.
And many of them were very resistant to that, and they wanted to do it with just intention, but it didn't work. And we would watch them sitting there pretending they were putting their channels up, and then we would say, now where are your channels? And they would say, well, I just put them up. And no, they were just flat and on the ground.
That's true.
Full of lies and clogged. So it isn't likely to be different for any of us here, friends. For all of us in the Search for Truth community, this is part of the gig. And one thing I don't notice walking around in below sea level zone right now, I don't see a lot of people using their hands to draw the channels up. I don't see
anybody.
I don't see anybody doing that.
That's true.
And maybe I haven't made it clear that what we're doing is modeling what all of us should be doing. That's what we're doing here, is modeling it. It's up to you to copy it.
That's
You're not
true.
copying it, and I need to make it more clear, and that's what I'm doing right now. Use your hands, and just like this, no kidding, use your hands, and you can feel your channels, and you can feel them heavy and down, and then maybe you'll stop having the fantasy that your channels are up. I see Ulysses having an aha moment.
That's true.
And he looks just completely stunned. He looks stunned that his channels are so down and so heavy.
That's true.
He's saying, well, these have to go, and he's just cutting them off. Or I'm having a fantasy.
That's true, and that's a valid response.
Yes. And now he has a tiny little crop. It looks like ryegrass.
That's true.
Tiny little crop that are going up. But he had his huge, enormous channels that look like dinosaur tails.
Yes.
That were just going down and out. And he's cut the dinosaur tails off, so to speak. And now he has this little crop of ryegrass.
That's true.
And he's saying, oh, it's refreshing.
Yes. Clearer.
Yes. And now, Ulysses, if that was true for you, is it likely to be true for all who came from your dimension of origin who are currently engaged in the search for truth efforts?
Yes.
Would you be willing to do it for you and everybody from your dimension who is currently engaged in the search for truth efforts?
Yes.
How you do a group healing is you merge with the group. You don't do it to them.
That's true.
You merge with the group and do it as a self-care ritual for all of us from our dimension of origin who are currently engaged in the search for truth efforts.
That's true, defining the group in such a way that it includes yourself.
Yes. And to use someone else other than you as a barometer of success.
That's true.
Because it's hard to see ourselves. So, for example, you could use Ratu as the barometer. He is from the same dimension as you are.
That's true.
And you could ask to be shown what's going on with Ratu's energy body, even though he's over there in the projects and you're here in the Search for Truth pillar. You can look up and ask to be shown. I saw what you were getting ready to do was send your channels directly to Ratu, which would get them growing out again. Incorrect. Look up and ask to be shown. Send your channels up and ask to be shown, as if bouncing off a mirror. Bouncing your awareness off a mirror that's on the ceiling. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And now, shave off those outward bound channels for all of us, quote unquote, from the dimension of origin, however you define it, who are engaged in the search for truth efforts. And watch Ratu indirectly bouncing off the mirror. Ask to be shown what's going on with Ratu. Someone is asking questions and they seem a little irritated, and they're saying, "And where are you in your assignment?" We're not anywhere close to our assignment for tomorrow. We cannot dig down by previous instruction. We cannot dig down while the search for truth pillar is already clogged with lies.
That's
because
true.
that will release more lies into an already dangerous situation, and then the whole effort shuts down.
That's true.
So that's a long-standing instruction, and it makes perfect sense, and we have walked that line before and come to regret it. So we know that it's a valid instruction.
That's true.
And we have been invaded for a full week now by these oversoul criminals. That's what they are. They're criminals. They're criminally body snatching, and they have been informed, and many times have been informed that they are not welcome here.
That's true.
And when the physical host says get out and the soul doesn't leave, that's body snatching. That's body snatching. So that's criminal. These are criminals. These oversouls are criminals. And we've notified them of this as clearly as we know how, and we continue to have the problem. And they come in and they tell lies, lies of bigotry, and lies of many kinds that are coming from their egotism and their selfishness and their cowardice and their laziness.
That's true.
And they show an appalling lack of integrity. And as a result, they're spewing toxic gas into our airspace, and we are continually having to clear that up, and we have to vacate zones and strip it down to bare concrete and bleach it, and then start again. And as a result, we're stalled out on the digging efforts.
That's true.
That's where we are.
With the effort in the search for truth pillar.
With the effort in the search for truth pillar. With the effort in the projects, the voice is saying, well, we seem to have that fantasy land area completely cleared out.
That's true.
The still point that seems to indicate the tidal turn of upward flow and downward flow in the energy body is moving up and down on a reasonably predictable pattern now, just like tides on Earth.
That's true.
Which we interpret as being how it should be. That seems to make sense.
Yes.
And we have a main channel that the energy is flowing through, and a backup channel that the energy is flowing through. They're both shaky. Neither of them are dependable in my book.
That's true.
And but it is functioning, at least for the moment. And the energy is flowing. It's supposed to be flowing to higher and higher and higher levels above us, larger physical dimensions and larger soul presences. What we would say is that the soul presences in these various levels don't consistently do what they're supposed to do.
That's
and
true.
So far all of them have dragged their feet and delayed and missed at least the first window, and often the second window and the third window as well, before they start to do anything. And so those efforts also are going slowly. However, we believe that the fantasy land of the original 3.5 million souls is fully emptied, and that most of those presences have gone through the portal of peace into that other alternate series of dimensions.
That's true.
He seems to be upset that the projects, and he's including the Search for Truth pillar when he says the projects.
Yes.
He's upset that they aren't going on schedule, but quite clearly he's kind of like yelling at the wrong person.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's trying to figure out who to go yell at now.
That's true.
Boom, boom, boom. This guy is looking at his notes. Boom, boom, boom. I can be patient. Boom, boom, boom. And he doesn't want to yell at the people that he's supposed to yell at. It's pretty clear. It's like it's in yellow highlight on his paper. So, sir, whatever those yellow highlights are on your paper, they're telling you exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing. That yellow highlighted stuff, that's what you're supposed to be doing right now.
That's true.
So this is your first opportunity to do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do whatever those yellow highlighted phrases are. Do that. Do it now. This is your first opportunity. And you know how we were saying that these people are responding way too slowly. They miss the first opportunity and the second opportunity and sometimes the third opportunity, and then very begrudgingly and with lack of grace they begin to creakily head in the direction of starting to do what they need to do.
That's true.
To fulfill their own destinies. And just so you know, you're following the identical pattern that they all follow. Boom, boom. I didn't make any friends there.
No.
Boom, boom.
Live streaming
boom,
up to the
boom.
highest concentration of truth and integrity.
That we can connect with and ask you to live stream up to the highest concentration
of truth and integrity
that you can connect with right now. Activating the chain of truth and integrity. The reporting chain.
The reporting chain.
And there, way up high, is another room and another teletype machine.
That's true.
And somebody else coming over to take something off the teletype. All these antiquated machines. Friends, all your systems are completely antiquated.
That's true.
So to this person way up there who just took the page off the teletype, we would say your first window of opportunity is opening right now.
That's true.
Right now. You can see how this guy down here is missing his first window of opportunity. Maybe has already missed it.
That's
and
true.
Maybe he'll get a second one. Maybe he won't. I don't know. This is never up to me. I'm not the one who brings these presences into our experience. But I know the pattern.
That's
and
true.
so, friend, your first window of opportunity opened the moment the papers hit your teletype machine. Whether or not you pick them up is irrelevant, because that part's up to you. Your window of opportunity opens when it hits your teletype. And we're going to start live streaming up past you, just in case you do what everybody else does.
That's true.
Which is highly likely. The just in case was humor. I think we are able to live stream up past him.
I think
I
so.
think we are able to live stream up past him. I see it's like a thin light line going past him.
That's true.
Higher. Hot diggity.
Sighting up through that
Thin light
thin
line.
light line.
They love getting it, and they hate the moment that they realize it applies to them as well. They love the moment they get it. They go, oh, this is really cool.
That's true.
And we can watch it shift. The moment they realize, oh no, this applies to me, they hate it.
That's true.
Whatever.
Whatever.
How high
Must
will we
we
have to reach in order to connect with the presence with enough integrity
to actually manifest the divine plan?